So the next important part of the painting is the energetic centers, or as we call it, the kingdoms of being. And every kingdom has its own story, and it has its own queen, and has, or king, also has its own struggles and victories. So the most important, at least in my understanding, is the kingdom of being present to earth, which is the kingdom of time, the kingdom of evolutionary process, and the kingdom where you either have a choice to be in charge of your time or be a slave. And when we be slave ourselves, when we become slaves to our own pressure of timing, the creator that is connected to expanded universe is gone, and we are running. We're borrowing the time, and we're running after time, and we're never in congruent relationship with time. So I actually separated the time from the rest of the being, because if you're a slave, the rest of the being is actually, the consciousness not there. The consciousness all is in survival, in how we can manage ourselves when we have no time. And then, of course, you've heard time is money. The truth of the matter is, time is not money. Time is the substance you cannot buy, the substance you cannot create, the substance you cannot lose or find. Time is the fabric of life. And the way we measure this time is how our life is being organized according to that measure. And there are many legends about time and time travel and going to the past and going to the future. And the legends is our psyche is trying to grasp the idea of how our life is related to time. So time cannot be measured, but for our psyche, we can try to measure it. But the truth of the matter is, just like there is an abundance of minerals and movement and flow, there is an abundance of time. And where you position yourself in relationship to your survival is how you perceive the time in your life. And so the next one is about the fire of life, the life force energy, the creative energy that runs through our body to give us the energy to create. And sometimes it shows up as a stress. So if that kingdom is not properly functioning and the queen is being a slave of doing, then the creation is no longer your choice. The creation happens to you instead of you directing your creation. And then the next one is the area in which we relate to Earth as a place, and our connection to how fair our life is, and also the place where we connect our emotional self to the energy that runs through us and runs through our environment. And so those two kingdoms are very connected to our soul, because when the energy of the solar plexus starts moving according to your time and according to the love of your creation, then your soul finds the place where it can rest and create. But when we're constantly turned between what's happening in our environment and how we feel it and how we perceive it and how we give a meaning to it, again, we become a slave to the emotion, or we become a slave for our environment or our situation or the people that are around us. So as the energy is rising, the sun is rising and illuminating the earth and the waters and the mountains of the earth, you become more familiar with your environment. And as you illuminate it with the sunlight, you are able to manage your kingdom a little better. And then the next one is the heart center. And I placed the Fibonacci entrance into it because we often try to protect our heart in fear that it will be attacked, or our kingdom will be taken over by invaders. So at the same time, we're lonely, we're longing for more connection, and we want to open the door of our castle, and we want to extend the drawbridge. And then when invaders come, we don't know if it's an invader or it's a knight in a shining armor. And so this constant struggle between opening and closing our heart is the struggle of the kingdom. The kingdom cannot expand and create connections with other kingdoms if it's constantly closing its doors. So harmonious entry, harmonious expansion, following the laws of nature applies to the heart and human love just as much as it applies to love of the universe and universal flow. And then I place the fire in the throat, because very often our throat, our voice is frozen, and that kingdom becomes silent. And imagine the kingdom in which the queen or the king cannot speak, cannot tell, cannot command its own kingdom. So harmonious harmony of the throat that is connected to passion of creation is exactly what I wanted to add in the area which is responsible for the connection to others, communication and collaboration, and being able to expand by working according to your truth, according to your voice. And then this is the center of awareness. We feel, we hear, we know, using our senses. So when I connect to this painting, all I see is the eyes that know no judgment, the eyes of the eternity that does not have the time associated with the result. And therefore, there is nothing to judge and there is nothing to worry about. It's only the eyes that are looking into creation with the wow and admiration and ability to see a little bit beyond, so the next step appears as it needs to appear. So that kingdom is important, because if you are not aware where you are and who you are and what is your timing and who you're with and who is in your heart, then of course that kingdom is disconnected from the rest of the body, and the decisions you're making might not be decisions that your body can survive. And then this other part is open to the cosmos, because this is the kingdom of expanded consciousness. This is an antenna through which information comes into our body all the time. And every day we receive a cosmic download of abundance. And it's abundance of ideas and abundance of the ways to create what we want to create, and abundance of time. Every day we wake up, and the new day and the new moment of our consciousness is present for us to play with, to be the king and queen of. And so as we open our mind to the cosmic realms, to the realms of connection beyond the obvious, we bring in that which already happened for us on the superconsciousness level. So our work here in the physical plane and the struggle is no longer struggle. It becomes a foundation for that consciousness to be processed through the body, brought into the physical world, and emanated in the form of our creation right here and right now. So this particular painting holds the template of incarnation and journey of the spirit into the physical matter. And as the spirit travels in, and as we receive that abundance of information and ideas and possibilities, I would like for us to continue journeying into every one of those kingdoms, so we can become the true king and the true queen who are able not only understand what's going on in the kingdom, but also have enough energy, have enough awareness, have enough emotional support from within, and fair understanding of what has to happen, so we can actually create the change that we desire to create. And so as we create that change, we become the change. So as you see this blue energy around. Blue is the color of manifestation, for me at least, but also many spiritual traditions recognize it as a color of manifestation. So that consciousness becomes a physical anchor of the higher mind and the higher heart, able to manifest by just being present with the truth and energy of who